Hello. So we are live again tonight for another Yarns from the Farm. And tonight I have with me Grant Coombes from up in Waikato.
G'day, how are you?
So, Grant, you run a number of farms, and you are a trustee for Rural Support Trust and also part of a very large bubble. So can you tell us a bit about your
I might have lost you actually, right at the critical part. I don't know whether it's me or you, but I think you were asking about my bubble. So,
I'm back.
have I got you?
Joys of rural internet. I'm hoping Grant is going to come back online.
Is it? Yeah, I'm here anyway. I think you were asking about my bubble, so I'll tell you about that anyway, and we'll see if it goes out or not. So yeah, I'm lucky enough to be part of a bigger bubble. We've got 8 in our group. There's my wife and I and our 4 adult or teenage children, and some of the partners.
We missed all of that because it completely froze. I'm so sorry.
Okay, I don't know if you froze or I did.
I didn't see you since I asked you the first question.
What was your first question?
Tell us a little bit about what you do on a normal daily basis before lockdown.
Okay, that was different to what I thought you'd ask. That's right. So what do I normally do? We're running a couple of dairy farms and a dry stock unit. So I've got some very good people that help me with that as farm managers and a contract milker. So I'm lucky enough to overview there and do some of the higher level stuff in regards to that business, and have time to do a few other things. So yeah, with the Rural Support Trust, and also Winter Accommodation Services, which is an organisation in town. I'm a trustee of both of those organisations. So yeah, that's what I do.
So enough to keep you busy, and probably still enough to keep you busy even in your bubble in lockdown as well.
There's still plenty to do in our bubble. Yes, there is. Yeah.
So before we go on to chat about your bubble, I'm sure most people have an understanding of the Rural Support Trust, or have at least heard of it. But can you give us a bit of a rundown of actually the structure of the Rural Support Trust and what they are there for and what they can offer people in our rural communities?
Totally, yeah. So the rural support, there's 14 different rural support trusts throughout New Zealand, and so I'm involved in the Waikato Hauraki Coromandel Rural Support Trust, and so we're very sort of front facing. So there's a few things we do, but mainly it's around if there's an adverse event, then Rural Support Trust is involved there through that coordination. So there might be a flood. A drought. So it's a lot of the coordination there. But the other very important thing we do is that we're front facing. We've got the 0800 number, which is 0800 787 254, and so you can ring there and you'll get. In our instance, we've got Brenda, who's absolutely magnificent. She's just a great person. In fact, I'm very privileged being a part of the Rural Support Trust because I get to see a lot of the facilitators are the people that come out and will see you if you need help, and they're just absolutely magnificent people. They really are, and non-assuming, non-threatening, just beautiful people. So it's great to be surrounded by those. But anyway, so if you were to ring the number, you'd get Brenda. And Brenda would send someone out that might help you out for whatever your issue might be, whether it's an employment issue or a mental health issue. So, and those facilitators then will help sort of guide it perhaps, or suggest some people that might help in the right avenues. So yeah.
And they'll often go out on farm to meet with people who need their support as well, won't they?
Definitely. So if a call comes in, Brenda sends someone out and they'll assess what's required and go out on farm and see them. And often it's just having someone there to hold your hand or walk beside you through difficult times, and that's what our facilitators do.
Yeah, brilliant. So aside from that, in your bubble at home, I know your bubble's pretty large, isn't it? Up in Waikato. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really lucky actually. We've got our four. So my wife and I in the bubble, and then our four children or teenage and adult kids, and two of their partners. So there's 8 of us in our bubble, and so it's been really good. It's been really exciting to have everybody there. And I went and got some groceries the other day, and people thought I was panic buying. It was just a normal weekly thing for me. But to be frank, I was panicking when I went to pay the bill. I can tell you that.
There's a lot of people. So it must be absolutely obviously wonderful to have everybody home, but at the same time, you've probably got to have a bit of a balance between giving each other space and everybody doing their own daily routines and things. Do you?
Yeah, we do. And so 2 of the team are at university at the moment, so they're doing that online. So they go off, and into one of the rooms and sort of do that. And the young boys, the 2 youngest, they're back at school essentially tomorrow, so they'll have some work to do there. And we've got 2 of the others have got a bit of a building project on with some bits and pieces we've got, so they're doing some work there. And then I'm still reasonably busy actually on the farm, as I noticed most of you guests have still been pretty busy, so we're pretty lucky that we are essential. And so getting grass in and that sort of stuff, so I've still been pretty busy there. And my wife's got a business, and so she's not as busy at the moment, but I think she's enjoying a bit of time just to catch up on stuff around the place too. So yeah. And then we sort of come together towards the end of the day and tell some stories about what we've been up to, and we've been playing poker or backgammon or watching a movie. So it's been really good. It's been neat fun catching up with everybody. And yeah.
Do you have a backgammon king in your household or queen?
Maybe? Yeah, we do. Yeah. Unfortunately, we do. It's my son Liam, and he's so conservative that he beats us all the time. So I'm trying to attack him from the back, and it never works for me.
My father was exactly the same. He was always had plans, and I'd quietly wait. But as soon as you could beat Dad, you knew you were good at backgammon. So
right. Yeah.
Like that. Yeah. So do you all have lots of exercise routines and things to get active, or just get outside on the farm, or what are you all doing?
Yeah, we've set up some of the teams set up some chip and putt. So there's a little chip and putt set up outside, and there's 4 holes, and so that we get out and do that. The teenagers so most of the team have set up weights, and they're doing weights and whatnot sort of later in the afternoon. And then we have been going for a run as well, which has been good. Mind you, we've been rained off, which is even better the last couple. But, so we've been going for a run, which has been really good. I'm not a runner, or haven't been a runner. I play a lot of squash. I absolutely love sport and love playing squash, but it's a different thing when you go running. So we've been out running, and we kind of, you get home or someone's not so keen, but because everybody's going, you sort of encourage everybody else to come along, and it has been very good fun. Yeah. And so did blow a muscle in my calf about 4 days ago or 5 days ago, and if you saw my calves, you'd wonder how, because I don't have any muscles in there. But anyway, so I've been out for the last 4 or 5 days.
Yeah, I think that's it's quite an interesting point when you're like together as a group. I think like our bubble's really small, and obviously I know quite a few people who are still working solo on a farm, and it's a very different situation when you're a big family to keep each other motivated and positive, to being like in a very solo bubble or a small bubble. It's quite a differing situation, I think, for many people out there.
Yep, I agree, totally agree. Yeah, and it's it can be very lonely if you don't, if you're in a smaller bubble. And I think it's really important to keep in touch with your friends. And I think I've spoken to a lot of my friends more than I ever have, through Zoom and whatever. So I think that's important.
Yeah, a lot of us have actually. I've connected with a lot more of my friends in England that normally you're just like, I'm just too busy, and actually now we're taking a little bit more time. And I'm amazed how many people are doing Friday evening drinks on Zoom, and you see photographs of them with like 10, 15 different screens up having a Friday night drink. So it's quite interesting to see how sort of ingenious people are with finding ways to actually catch up and connect now. So it's good to see.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
talking about the positives, I have been doing a Lucky in Lockdown book all the way along through this lockdown journey. And the aim of the game was basically at the beginning to start with 3 positives every morning, sort of 3 things that I was really grateful for, which initially was really easy. But then the trick to it is that you're not allowed to repeat any of your positives. So by the end of your 30 days in lockdown, you should have 90 different things that you're really grateful for. And that's starting to go to the really small things.
Yes.
So I've been asking everybody I've been chatting to, what are the 3 things that you're really aware of that you're quite grateful for since we've been in this situation?
I think the biggest thing for me that I'm really aware of is around the relationships that we create in life and living our lives. And so, relationships in our family, which, are really important, relationships in our community, and relationships in business. And that's really come home to me, and so just through this lockdown, I was trying to get some grass seed in and the rototiller broke and I needed a piece of steel, and, you call your mechanic and you go, I know somebody in the steel industry, and you can give them, and so they kind of point you in the right direction. So having those relationships with your vet and your mechanic and those sort of things, I think are really important. And in times like this, I think perhaps you lean on that, from time to time. You probably lean on it, actually, even not in this situation. So it's really good to have those and work on those relationships. And so I suppose the flip side of that is I look at a couple of my business relations, and I think they could probably be a bit stronger, when I might need a bit of advice on something, one thing or another. So I'll come out of it, I think, stronger, perhaps working on some of those as well. But so those business, I think the business relationships are really important, I think, and so I'm really grateful for those relationships I've got, and so and also community too. And so that's important. I mean, and then I think something I'm really grateful, just sort of come home, was when I sit down, I catch up with guys on a Friday night too, and I've really got a really neat team of friends that are not in the agri sector, they're from in town. And it's cool just listening to those stories, and it's just able to get out of your own space and sort of understand that everybody's dealing with the same stuff. And so I'm very grateful for that, my group of friends in general, but also those ones just keep it a bit real. So so I think that's really good. And so I guess lastly for me is being part of this agri industry is so good, and so I'm very grateful to be part of that. And when I have 8 of us in our bubble, we can spread out. And like I say, I'm off on the farm and the kids are riding motorbikes or playing golf or whatever it is. So we are really privileged to be out on the farm. And so I'm incredibly grateful for that as well. Thank you
for those. There's actually some really, really interesting points brought up there. And, particularly, connecting with people probably outside our normal circle, I think is a really interesting one, considering we're so stuck inside at the moment. We're stuck within our bubble, but yet, as you say, we're somehow making these alternative connections that we didn't do when we had the freedom to do so. So it's quite an interesting process when you hear people chatting about that type of thing as well. So and
just another thing I've noticed, I'm on the road a little bit, just going between the farms and whatnot, and I'm amazed how many people are out walking and how they're all wave. Everybody's waving, and it's kind of it's actually brought a lot of people together, hasn't it? The lockdown.
Yeah, absolutely has, I think. So thank you so much for your time this evening.
No, cool.
And I will pop up after this. I'll pop up all the links to the Rural Support Trust, and I did earlier, but I'll re-pop them up, and the telephone number and everything like that, in case anybody wants to look into what the Rural Support Trust can do to help them or anybody in their community.
Cool. Yeah. Awesome. All right. Thanks very much. Okay. Catch you later.